Hello fellow coffee botherers, I'm Kev from coffeeblog.co.uk and in this video I'm going to be talking about the DeLonghi Magnifica S bean-to-cup coffee machine. Just a quick disclaimer before I continue. I know a lot of my subscribers are home baristas like me and not bean-to-cup coffee machine users. So if this is you and this video isn't of interest to you because I'm talking about bean-to-cup machines, please just ignore it rather than hitting the dislike button. A lot of people don't realise that when they hit the dislike button, they're not expressing a dislike of the subject or the content in general, they're leaving a downvote for the video itself, and this affects the YouTube algorithm. So if this video isn't for you because you're not interested in these kind of machines, please just ignore it and wait for a video from me which is of interest to you. Or better still, click the like button anyway to be kind and to acknowledge that even if this video isn't helpful for you, it might be helpful for someone who is interested in this kind of coffee machine. So this is a successor to the DeLonghi Magnifica S ECAM 4200, which was among the best-selling lower-cost bean-to-cup coffee machines for several years. I had that machine for a while and I reviewed it here. Basically, I was impressed with it overall for the money. This slightly more compact, updated version appears to have taken over its older sibling now in terms of popularity, and I'm guessing that's partly because fairly recently this newer model has started to sell for slightly less than the older one, and I put a link in the description below to where you can get this new machine cheaper than the older one at the time this video has been recorded, at least. I'm going to quickly unbox and then set up this machine, and then I'll use it for a bit and let you know my first impressions from making a few coffees with it. So let's get started. Quite well boxed for transit then, a box in a box. Something in a language I don't understand. Oh, hang on a minute. Oh no, something in several languages I don't understand apart from one that I do, which is English. To enjoy your coffee even more and improve the performance of your appliance, we would recommend installing a water softener filter. If your model is not provided with a filter, you can buy one from DeLonghi Customer Services, I'm sure you can. For more information, visit DeLonghi.com. Okay, plug, good start. Lots and lots of plastic. Quite sure we need all that. You know, this scaler stuff. Scoop. Somebody's car alarm. Safety warnings. Of course, you always read them. Instructions for use. So it wants us to rinse all the accessories with hot water, anything which may come into contact with water or milk. So we'll do that. And it warns us here that the first time we use a machine, the water circuit is empty and the appliance could be very noisy. The noise becomes less as the circuit fills. So we'll see. Possible traces of coffee in the mill, the grinder, are the result of operating tests performed on the appliance before sale. Proof of the meticulous care and attention we invest in our products. I can't imagine that that's true, but that they actually test the products before shipping them out. So first thing I'm going to do is rinse all the bits that will come into contact with milk or water, so not the grinder. That's the Panarello sheath. Where is that? Water tank. Water tank. We'll rinse that. Okay, so got it all ready to go, rinsed everything, and now gonna follow the quick start setup. First use Instructions, if I can find them again. Place a container with a minimum capacity of 100 ml under the cappuccino maker, which is what I call the Panarello wand. Done. That's after removing the water tank and fill it, but I've already done that. Connect the appliance to the main supply well ahead of you. Turn the on switch to on if there is one. It's already on. Turn the steam dial to the 1 position and water is delivered from the cappuccino maker, the Panarello wand. Then the appliance goes off. Let's see. I think that was that loud bit it warned about, and that was quite loud, but it's gone to what I would imagine is normal now. It says the machine is now ready for use, so that was quick. The first time you use a coffee machine, you need to make 4 or 5 cups of coffee or cappuccinos before it starts to give satisfactory results. Each time the machine appliance is turned on, it performs an automatic preheat and rinse cycle which cannot be interrupted. Appliance is ready for use only once this cycle is complete. So, turn the machine on. It should do something. Forgot to put the steam back to 0. That's why it wouldn't turn on. Set up, ready to go. That was nice and straightforward. And now I'm going to go away, make 4 or 5 coffees with it, chuck them away, and then start making coffees and actually tasting them. You just see me pull a load of shots with the DeLonghi Dedica, and I've done, it tells you to do 4 shots, I think it's 4 shots before you start drinking it, and I can see why that is. The first few shots weren't really drinkable. Just a few things to point out. I've got it on almost a finest grind, just half a step away from finest, and usually with bean to cup machines I'd have them on the finest setting. And that seems about right. I messed up at one point because I was playing around with the coffee grind amount and I put it to the spoon setting by mistake. I didn't realise I'd done that, and it started flashing at me and wouldn't work. And it was because when you do that, it's expecting you to put pre-ground coffee into the bypass chute, and I didn't do that. I'd accidentally put it onto that setting. So I would personally leave this set to maximum. I was counting how long it grinds for, and at maximum it grinds for about 8 or 9 seconds. I don't know how many grams per second it's grinding. I need to do some research on that, see if I can figure that out. But on the maximum, in terms of the amount of coffee using, it's about 8 or 9 seconds. I would imagine that's 11 to 12 grams at the most. And it delivers, on a single shot, it delivers 40 grams, which is more like a double shot. So that's not a great ratio. It's not particularly strong. It tastes fine, but I wouldn't want to go any weaker than that. If you put it to the minimum, it'll still give you 40 grams, but it'll use a lot less coffee, which is fine if you prefer it weaker. So the single shot will deliver about 40 grams, it differs by a few grams, 40 grams or 40 millilitres, same difference. You can actually reprogram all of these buttons. Just press and hold it until it's finished grinding and the button starts to flash, indicating that it's pulling the shot, and then release and then press it when you've got the desired volume. The best way to do this would be to use a measured cup or glass, so you can stop it as soon as it reaches the measure, because if you're doing it with a scale, unless you've got a really responsive set of scales, it'll be a little bit more difficult to do. Playing around with the steaming, and what's good about this is when you take the Panarello off, as I did on the DeLonghi Magnifica, which is a manual espresso machine from DeLonghi, obviously. When you take the Panarello off to expose the rubber pipe underneath, or silicone, whatever it is, that pipe needs holding on with a cable tie because it comes off if you try and use it. This one doesn't, so you don't need to mess around with a cable tie. You can literally just take that off, and that is usable as a steam wand. And I'll demonstrate that properly in a sec. So the single and double shot thing, if you press the 1 cup button on the espresso, you'll get about 40 grams, 40 ml of coffee. Press the 2 cup one, you'll get 80, but as far as I can see, it's using the same amount of coffee depending on what you've set this to, so it doesn't grind double the coffee. And that's the same with the predecessor, the ECAM 4200. And that's where the Cayer Brera differs, because when you press a double shot button on the Cayer Brera, which is more expensive than this machine, to be fair, but when you press that button, the double shot button, it will grind, pull the shot, grind, and pull the shot. I'm actually quite impressed with this steam. As you probably saw when it was sped up, I used the Panarello and then I did it without the Panarello as well. I'm definitely getting better results without the Panarello, as you would do. But with it, or cappuccino maker, whatever they call it, the Panarello, with it on, there is a little cheat you can do, which you probably saw. So steam it in one jug with the Panarello sheath, and then pour it from that into another jug, a little bit of a height, so you're getting rid of some of that additional stiff foam, and then pour it back in, give it a good swirl, and that does make it a bit easy to pour. You can get something more like latte art with it, but the proper microfoam for latte art, you really need to take this off and use the steam pipe. And as I said, you don't need to cable tie this, it will stay on. So let's try and demonstrate. You wonder why I keep coming back over here, it's because the mic's here, so if I'm stood over there you won't hear me. I'm just going to do a little trick now, show you a little trick, which is pour the milk into your cup first. And then pour that into your jug. You only need to do this once, and it tells you where you need to be filling your jug up to. I used to fill the jug up to the same point every time and use more milk than I needed, until I watched Lance Hendrick's video, which I'll put here, which pointed out that if you use the amount of milk you need for the coffee you're making for the cup you're using, it's easier, and it definitely is. So I would recommend doing this first time you're using the jug or a different cup. I'll just pull a couple of longer coffees before signing off. So I'm now pulling a 1 cup Americano or long coffee, the bigger coffees, the 1 cup. It ground about the same as normal because I've got it on the max setting. And you know what, they're decent looking coffees, lots of crema. And that's quite a decent, what I'd refer to as a decent strength Americano. About right, not overly strong, not too weak. I think most people would be quite happy with that, getting served that as an Americano or just a long black coffee. I'm going to do it on the 2 cup Americano setting now. I forgot to change the camera angle then, so you couldn't see it pulling, but I'll just show you. So that's given us 250 grams. And again, it doesn't look bad in terms of the crema, but it's quite weak, as I suspected, because through most of the pour it was just water. So again, as with the single and double espresso button, the single and double long black or Americano, tall coffee, whatever DeLonghi calls it, buttons, it's grinding more or less the same coffee and then giving you double the water. So you're just getting a taller, weaker shot. So what do I think about the DeLonghi Magnifica S after using it for a couple of hours? Overall, I'm really impressed with it for the price. I don't think it's loud at all. Some people have said that it is, but I don't think it is. And I think it's a bit quieter than the predecessor, the ECAM 4200. I think the espresso quality is on a par with most bean-to-cup coffee machines. I certainly think it's on a par with the ECAM 4200. The steam power is quite impressive. I'd have to try them side by side, but it felt like the steam power was a bit more on this one than on the 4200. Steaming seemed to take a bit less time. As I've mentioned, pressing the double shot button for the short espresso or long espresso gives you double the volume from the same amount of coffee ground. I think this is fairly standard with bean-to-cup coffee machines, although the Cayer machines that I've used, including the Brera, the Anima and the Magenta, do give you 2 shots from double the amount of ground coffee when you press the double shot button. So personally, I'd just set it to around the finest grind setting and only adjust it when it's grinding, by the way, and then reprogram one of the buttons to give you an espresso you're happy with the taste of. And then if you want 2 shots in 2 separate cups for 2 people, or if you want 1 double shot, just pull 1 shot after the other, basically. But I'd recommend just pressing the 1 shot button at the factory preset in case you're more than happy with it. And if you are, great, no need to change anything. With what DeLonghi call the long espresso buttons, what I would call Americano, I'm quite happy with the factory preset 1 cup button. That to me is about the right strength for a standard Americano. And if I wanted a bigger cup, I wouldn't press the 2 cup button, as that would just give me the same amount of coffee but more water. So instead, I'd press a single button, wait until it finishes, and then just press the same button again. So, thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, why not click here to watch another one? Don't forget to click the like button. Thank you very much. And even more importantly, don't forget that to become an official Coffee Botherer, you need to click this image around here somewhere to subscribe to our channel. And to become a fully accredited Coffee Botherer, also known as Patreon supporter, just go to patreon.com/coffeeblogkev. Tatty bye.